Good morning, friends, and welcome back to She's At It Again. My name is Tanya, and I'm about to make my second recipe this week for something pumpkin. So I'm going to use some pumpkin pie spice in it. That's what we made a couple of videos ago, at least a couple of videos ago. But go with us over to the kitchen island. We're going to give this a start. I've got everything already measured out, well, for the most part, and we're going to blend up some ingredients, make it just a little bit smoother. I want to see this if the recipe is actually legit. I'm a little concerned that it's AI, but we'll see. If it takes too long to bake, that's going to frustrate me. But let's go validate it. All right, over here at the island, I have my ingredients ready to go, and I have my clear bowl so you can see what I'm doing. First thing I'm going to do is put some of my ingredients in here. That's my oven preheating. I'm going to process it with my immersion blender because I want my cottage cheese a little bit smoother. I don't necessarily mind the lumps. I just want to see if it makes it a different texture and bakes more thoroughly, because there were some people commenting on this recipe that it took me more like 50 minutes or it took an hour to bake, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that. That's why I'm kind of sketchy about, or kind of leery about whether it's a genuine recipe. And the only reason I say that is because I was looking on Pinterest the other night. I found this recipe and I thought, oh, those cookies are so pretty, but I bet it's got lots of sugar in it. Well, it had sweetened condensed milk, but it said no bake. And I'm trying to think of what the third ingredient, it was sweetened condensed milk and flour. And then you mix it all together and put it on a baking sheet. I'm like, number one, you haven't cooked the flour. It is not, absolutely not recommended to eat raw flour. That would be, if it's not cooked, it's raw. And I'm just like, okay, I think this is an AI recipe, and that frustrates me to no end, because I'm telling you, I'm not a waster, but I know there are people out there who can barely afford to make things, and to make a recipe and it fail and you have to just throw it away, and that's money wasted on groceries that you're not going to be able to eat. That breaks my heart. That makes me so sad when I read stuff like that, and it aggravates me, and I'm thinking, who do you call to complain about this kind of stuff? But clearly AI has taken a turn for the worse when they start doing things like that. So, all right, so this was a cup of cottage cheese, a cup of canned pumpkin. So I took a little over half this can of pumpkin. And then here is a quarter of a cup of pure maple syrup. And you can use honey or maple syrup, but I'm opting for the maple syrup because I just love me some maple syrup. I do. I think if somebody handed me a straw and just told me to drink it out of a cup, I could pretty much drink it out with a straw, out of the cup. It's just that good to me. We're going to put 2 eggs in this. Now, these aren't the only ingredients, but these are the only ones I'm going to puree together. This is also a gluten-free recipe as long as you use gluten-free oats, and I made mine into oat flour ahead of time, so this will be a gluten-free recipe. All right, that's our few ingredients that we're going to puree smooth. So a cup of pumpkin, a cup of whole milk cottage cheese, 2 eggs, and a quarter of a cup of maple syrup. So let's puree this smooth. Okay, that's about as smooth as we're going to get it, and it looks delightful. The recipe had said if you want it smooth, you can put it in a blender, but I'm just thinking, you know what? If I put all these ingredients in my Vitamix, because it's going to take me forever to dig it out. I'm not going to lie to you. Vitamix is a great, great kitchen tool to have. It is very much a luxury for me to have that, but sometimes you just lose product in the bottom of it when you're trying to get it out. It's just hard to get everything out. And if you've watched my channel very long, I clean that bowl with the scraper. I don't leave anything in there. But a Vitamix is testing my ability. Okay, that's pretty clean. Set this aside, and all we have to do is just really dump our other ingredients in it. So here we have, let's go with the vanilla next. I'm going to put my oat flour in last. A teaspoon of vanilla. This is homemade vanilla. A teaspoon of cinnamon. This is Ceylon cinnamon. A teaspoon of our pumpkin pie spice that we made the other day. A teaspoon of baking powder. This is my jar baking powder because I buy it in bulk at Good Measure. And it's baking powder, not baking soda. Just keep that in mind. And then a fourth of a teaspoon of pink salt. I already have my 8x8 glass baking dish buttered well. I mean, I slathered it on there. That's our oat flour once I get this all stirred up. Sometimes when the pictures of these things on Pinterest is too pretty, then I get concerned about it too. There's one particular site that keeps coming up on there, and I know for a fact it's AI. The pictures are too pretty, and the recipes, honestly, in my very unprofessional opinion, just don't make sense. The ingredients together, I'm like, no, that's not going to work. Kind of like the putting the flour in it and then not baking it. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, this is 1 cup of oat flour, and all it is just, I can't remember if it was quick oats or rolled oats, and I just processed them in the Vitamix. So that's going to take the place of like an all-purpose flour. But the baking powder is going to help give it a little bit of lift, as well as the eggs will too. And you don't have to worry about overmixing this because it doesn't have gluten in it. And it smells good. Okay, this is our 8x8 glass baking dish. I have some bread. Well, no, my bread won't go in there. I just need to shape it when my timer goes off. So I got 3 things now going. I've got sourdough crackers, I've got a loaf of honey oat bread, and then I've got this going. So I'm trying to figure out which ones I can bake together and which ones I need to bake after that. I'll have to turn the oven off, then heat it up again, which isn't a big deal. It'll still be warm by the time it goes in there. Okay, like I said, I buttered this pan well, so it shouldn't have any problem sticking. All right, I'll have to get out an alternative timer because I already have my timer set for my bread rising. All right, that's all there is to this. No topping, no crumb topping, no anything on top. But you could put some pecans on this, and I bet it would be delightful. I'm just saying. All right, we're going to put this in the oven and bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. I'll set it for 25 because I can always add time to it. I can't take time off, and we will see what it looks like after 25 minutes. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, I had to add 5 minutes to it. I looked at it about 25 minutes, and I put my little cake tester in it, and it didn't look like I wanted to. So I just added 5 minutes to it. So we'll turn it off and take it out and show it to you. All right, this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like a pumpkin pie to me. So I'm gonna let this cool off and give it a taste. When I slice it or take it out, I'll let you see what it looks like then, just like I do with the other pumpkin recipe. So we'll be right back. Okay, I finally got a little piece of this cut out of there. I just finished lunch, just took a bite of this. This is not super sweet at all, so if you're expecting pumpkin pie sweetness, it's not that. It has the texture of pumpkin pie, sorta, but more of a cake. It's actually like, yeah, it's more like a cake. So these were called bars, but I just took the word bars off of it because I'm not going to cut these in bars. I'm just going to cut a chunk out of it and eat it. But these are delightful. I can taste the maple syrup in there, and it's really nice. So if you need something gluten-free and you're supposed to bring something kind of Thanksgiving to a gathering or something, you might give this a try. This is, I would say this is better than pumpkin pie. I mean, I'm just going out on a limb here, but that's just my opinion. So anyway, something super easy, and it's not too big, so if you have leftovers, you're not tempted to just, you know, eat the whole thing, and there's so much of it. It's not like a 9x13 pan or something like that. So anyway, give this a try. Recipe will be in the description as always, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Hope you enjoy it. Bye.